Alright guys, welcome back. So on deck today is going to be another ammo test with the 10mm. Today we're going to be testing the Speer Gold Dot 200 grain factory offering. I believe this is new for this year. I think in the past Speer had offered a 200 grain Gold Dot as reloading components. However, it sort of just vanished. So this is a factory loading available for this year. And we're going to test this out of our standard Glock 20 with our standard factory barrel, as well as a factory 6-inch barrel. Speer is listing 1100 feet per second, so we're going to run these over the Crony and see what we get. And then we're going to do a expansion and penetration test using our 5-inch water jugs. We'll do a bear test, a 4-layer denim test, and then we'll probably do the simulated bone test that we've done in the past on the channel. So let's go ahead and get this going. All right, this will be the standard length barrel. All right, our low was 1066, our high was 1077, and our average was 1071. A little on the low side on velocity, but very consistent. All right, this will be the factory 6-inch barrel. That's interesting. Our low was 1059, our high was 1086, our average was 1076. So we didn't gain anything with the 6-inch barrel. It appears that Speer is loading this with a powder that is pretty much completely burning in a standard length barrel. So we're not getting any velocity gain by bumping up the barrel length. That's interesting. All right, we're just going to use the factory standard barrel since we saw no gain with the 6-inch barrel. First up will be the bear jugs. All right, let's check it out. All right, so we destroyed our first two jugs. That's not surprising. Penetrated the third, and we struck the fourth and cracked it, and the bullet was actually found just lying on the table. So fully expanded, fairly large diameter. I'll put weights and measurements up in the description below after all this, but I'm a little surprised. I thought that was going to go deeper than that. Bouncing off the fourth jug is, for 200 grain 10mm, that's pretty shallow penetration actually. I really expected that to go deeper. But the results are what they are, so we'll keep this going. All right, next up will be 4 layers of denim. Okay, so we destroyed our first 2 jugs. Again, nothing surprising there. And then we penetrate our third, fourth, and fifth. And I found the round lying in jug 5. It cracked the back. It almost came out, but it stayed inside. The round is fully expanded, but not as much as you'd expect or think with a Gold Dot. Though that penetration depth is more in line with what I was sort of expecting. But yeah, well, there you go. The results are what they are. Typically what I see is about 1.5 times penetration in these types of water jugs as compared to ordnance gel. So 5 jugs, which should put you somewhere around 16.5 inches or so of penetration. Possibly closer to 17 with the crack being as substantial as it was on the back. I'm gonna go ahead and do the bear test one more time just to see if that penetration depth was just a fluke or not, because it really seemed awfully shallow for this heavy of a bullet. So we'll just give that a whirl one more time. All right, we'll try the bear test one more time. Let's go check it out. All right, well, just like before, round stuck in jug 3. It dented the back but didn't get out. Looks like it put a little crack in it, but yep, didn't get out of jug 3. So, well, there you go, same results. A little surprised that that penetration depth. I figured that would have gotten deeper. I'll go ahead and grab it out of there. And judging by the expansion we got, that'll probably be why we got the shallower penetration. So definitely got full expansion on that, but yeah, all right, a little bit surprised there, but the results are what they are. Okay, so one last test. This is going to be the simulated bone. So basically what we have, you haven't seen this setup before, we're going to drape 4 layers of t-shirt over our standard Aquafina bottle. This t-shirt is there to try to delay expansion slightly, because usually the expansion I see in game animals is somewhere between bare gel and heavily clothed gel. So that's all it's there for. It's not really a clothing barrier, just to delay expansion slightly. We want to see expansion in the bottle here, which is going to represent muscle tissue before striking a large bone structure represented by this 2x8. Then hopefully we'll get penetration and we'll see how deep it goes. We've done this in the past with some other 10 mil loadings, 9 mil loadings and whatnot, and it's given pretty consistent results. So it'll be interesting to see how the Gold Dot stacks up to this. So let's go ahead and get this going. Alright, so this will be a simulated bone test, 200 grain Gold Dot. Ordinarily we would run this over a chronograph while we're doing this, but there's just too much wind today and I can't keep the chronograph upright. And also the splash in the water and whatnot is too much risk of it coming back and getting into the chronograph. So we're just going to have to go with what we got. Here we go. All right, I'll dig around and see if I can find it. All right, so we destroyed our Aquafina bottle. Looks like we obviously got some expansion, put a nice hole in the board there. And we penetrated to the back of jug 3. And it's lying right here on the table. All right, so we bounced off of jug 4. Fairly tight expansion looks like as it passed through that board. Okay, well, I honestly was hoping for more out of this loading so far. I'll go ahead and give some final thoughts. Alright guys, so final thoughts on the Speer Gold Dot 200 grain. I have to say I saw this at SHOT Show and I was pretty excited about it, because speaking with the rep, he was telling me that it was listed as 1100 feet per second, but it was actually Cronian, or they were actually getting 1135-ish, 1125, somewhere up in there in actual testing, which I was kind of excited to hear, because that's typically where I load my 200 grain loadings to, and I find that for me that's just it's a solid performing load. So I was excited to hear that. I really would like to have a good factory offering for the 10 millimeter and with some more better bullet tech actually engineered around the velocities and everything else. So unfortunately this doesn't seem like it's panning out as well as I had hoped. So in our chronograph test we did not achieve the 1100. In fact, we really were quite a bit off. And unfortunately we couldn't even get there with the 6-inch barrel. In fact, we had no change with the 6-inch barrel. In fact, I think it came a little less actually with the 6-inch barrel. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm not too happy about that, because normally what I'll do is if I'm loading to about that 1125-ish or so and I need extra velocity because I want to shoot at extended distance or something, they want a little more downrange impact, I would generally just throw a 6-inch barrel in rather than change the loading. But in this case, it didn't do anything for us. The other thing I was a little disappointed in was the bare test penetration. So typically in these water jugs, what I see is 1.5 times the penetration of ordnance gel. So the Speer rep told me they were getting between 15 to 16 in bare and heavy clothing. That would be 5 jugs of penetration, which we did get with the heavy clothing. However, we didn't really come close to that with the bare gel or bare water test, and so that's a little disappointing too. Also, I had 2 different expansion levels in the bare water test. So if you look at these expansion levels, you'll see one is far more expanded than the other. And the odd thing is, the tighter expanded round here penetrated the same. That round also was the first round I shot and caused a malfunction, failure to eject. So I'm not sure if that was maybe a little light loaded round or not. It didn't really feel like it was any lighter than anything else. I'm just not sure what was going on there. Unfortunately, I wasn't running these over the chronograph when we were doing the ballistic test because, well, the wind's blowing too strong today and it would just blow water on the chronograph and kill it. So at any rate, that was disappointing to see the shallow penetration there. In the bare test, I liked the penetration I saw in the heavy clove, but we didn't get that much expansion. We got expansion, but not as much as I probably would have liked to have seen. And then in our simulated bone test, not bad performance. However, not what I was hoping. Again, I was hoping this would best my nozzle loading, but it didn't do that in the bone test. And unfortunately, with the difference in penetration between bare and heavy clothing, I'm not so sure about this as a field loading. Maybe as a personal defense loading, but I don't know that you're going to get any advantage over some of the other offerings that are currently available. Maybe this loading would do better to be juiced up a little bit, so I might try doing that later down the road. I may have to pull bullets or see if they're going to offer this as a reloading component. But as of right now, the results are what they are, and unfortunately I am a little disappointed in what we got. It's really windy and cold out here today, so I was excited to get out here and do this. Unfortunately, the weather, I was braving the weather to come out here and do it, and so I'm a little even more disappointed because it didn't really get the performance I was hoping for. However, the results are what they are. It is what it is, and if you haven't already done so, please like and subscribe. Share the video. It helps the channel out. I appreciate your comments, guys, so go ahead and comment and let me know what you think about this. But as always, please keep those comments professional, and I'll see you guys next time.